Welcome to Put This On Season 5, Episode 21, where we watch Extreme Unboxing, or Season 1, Episode 11.
Yeah.
I'm Chris Lorenz.
This is Brian.
This is VJ.
Hey, this is James.
Robert Kitts.
This is not Max with Tech.
Funny.
No,
Yeah,
don't
well-
do that. That wasn't funny. That was terrible.
That was being sarcastic. I hope I didn't.
Sorry,
I guess it
gotta
wasn't that
rip-
obvious.
I got to rip Noah early and often.
I thought, having 5 seconds to prepare a clever name, I feel pretty good with what I came up with.
Yeah, terrible job. Moving on.
Can you do better?
I mean, just like that joke, let's talk about this show. Rob, why not give me the show description?
The show description might be almost as long as the show itself. Extreme Unboxing follows a group of larger-than-life personalities from across the country as they buy liquidated merchandise for pennies on the dollar and unbox it with hopes for big profits. Risking their own money to bid on and win the best boxes at the best prices, pallets are delivered to their homes for the big reveal. Each group digs through hundreds, sometimes thousands of items on the hunt for retail gold. Whether it is one box or an entire truckload, these savvy super flippers scour the internet searching for their next big money score. That's Extreme Unboxing on A&E.
AKA shitty version of Storage Wars.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's take a step back. If you're new to the show, each week we do a different reality show and we review it, talk about it for a bit, especially this week. Very garbage, but we'll watch an episode. We'll come up with some cool drinking rules. So stay with us as we talk about just hot garbage. It's so bad. It's the opposite of Flavor Town. It's Garbage Town. Garbageville, would that be the good moniker? It's like people opening a pallet and then rambling off prices of random crap. That's the show. That's what it is. And it's fucking terrible.
I feel like this show should have a few things, right? You should get a little bit of background about the people. You should be invested in the people a little bit. You should know about their store. Then, in the middle part of it is like them opening up the box. Then first you would see like them like bidding on the boxes, right? Like if like they're doing the auction part, then they're like, yeah, I'm picking this one versus this one because of blah, blah, blah. Then, some of them they're getting outbidded. Some of them they're actually getting. Then they would in the middle open up the boxes, figure out how much they can sell it for. And then at the end, we should see them actually managing to sell these things and not just believe the numbers that they made up.
See, that's what I really want to see. What I don't want to see is...
three-part story that I'm making up. They like took the great start and the reveal at the end. And they're like, let's not do that.
Just
do
the boring
middle.
middle.
No prestige.
BJ, I have to disagree with one part. I really don't want to watch somebody use eBay for like 10 minutes.
No, but I think like there could be like a little bit of like a 5-minute recap, like, oh, okay, we come back after 3 months and they're like, okay, we actually managed to sell all of the items, or like we managed to sell 60% of the items at this price, and then we are having to throw away this much of the just kind of like a little bit like they invested so much in the math of the things, and then they didn't give me the math of how much money these people actually made. All I'm believing is that like they believe they can sell it for this much, and they were definitely going off different calculations for that. So like what calculation is right? And like having worked for a similar business, this is not how that's gonna go down for them. They will all lose money based on how they're going for this.
Well, okay. Let's take a step back. Let's focus on the show for a second here.
That is actually one of the biggest problems that I have with this is that like it's so evil. It's tricking people into this fucking show.
I mean, we have to talk about that. Let's talk about that later, though.
Okay.
There's a lot to unpack, Brian. Don't worry.
There's just like let's go over what happened. So like they introduced two people. I don't care what their names are. I didn't write them down. They like bought some pallet from they might have done this in a previous episode, VJ. It's a little unclear, I think. But anyway, they have this pallet. They just say, oh, we got this pallet of sex toys. And then they like these two people banter. Then they
That's the second
open
group of
fucking
people.
sex. Yeah, well, there's 3 segments. There's 3 different random people. They have 3 different pallets. One has sex toys, one has bicycles, one has like hunting stuff. I don't know. sports hunting and sports equipment.
Yeah,
and then
pretty
they
good.
just open these. They just open these things, write off prices, and you're supposed to get to kind of know them. I guess I don't know. And that's the whole show is them rambling off things, sex toys or bikes, and oh, we could sell it for retails for this. We sell it for this.
Was there a lot of censoring for you guys, or was that just on the A&E?
Yeah.
I don't know if Hulu had it less censored.
Like it was all during the sex toys. Every
I just didn't know if Hulu was less
all the
censored.
bicycles were censored for me. Were they censored for you guys?
Look at all the spokes on that, boop, and that bell goes. Boop.
Yeah, so we picked this episode because it had the novel name of "They're Gonna Sell Sex Dolls," which you think would be more watchable than people opening up bike toys. But guess what? It's not.
it was definitely more watchable than the other segments, though.
I don't think
no.
so. It was so awkward.
They didn't
I
sell
disagree.
them. Like the whole point was like Chris said, we watched this episode because it would be interesting to watch them sell it. They didn't sell shit. They just made up some numbers and there was a calculator on the screen. That's it.
Again, it is Storage Wars where they don't sell the shit. It's just
Yeah.
about the discovery of like, what the hell are we randomly going to find that we just bought and going to resell? And then you have to take all these people at their word that one, they're going to sell everything, which of course we know how that's going to go. Two, that they're actually going to sell at the price that they're just rattling off. Both of which aren't going to happen. Everyone loses money. This is a lose-lose all up and down.
Totally.
Noah, did you go to the internet corner for any of the sex toys to verify their pricing?
I did not, but
You just knew.
Well, that's true.
Oh,
He didn't need to go to the internet.
I'm
But
quite
I don't
familiar.
think they're lying about what they think they're gonna price it at. I'm not even questioning their truthfulness to us. I'm just questioning their business strategy, right? Like I'm not saying they're liars. I'm just saying they're idiots.
But like it was really interesting, or interesting's not the right word. It was curious that like I felt the correlation between like they would say this is what it retails for normally. We're going to sell it for this, and there seemed to be no rhyme or reason to how they were going from one to the other. Like sometimes it was this is $29, so we'll do 25, and it's actually pretty close. So it's like this is $50, we'll sell it for $30, and it's like decently far away. And they're just throwing out random numbers. Like there's no reason to think
I mean,
they're going
the
to.
sex doll
this
people were the
funny.
worst. They're like, this thing is retails for $320. We're gonna sell for $300. Like, who the hell is buying a used sex toy?
No,
at
no,
a
no,
5%
no.
discount.
no. The
No,
sex
no.
toys were different. They were liquidation. They weren't used products.
But they were opening some of the products. It wasn't like
no.
they were
All
unopened.
of them were packaging enclosed. That's the big difference. So that's why they can sell it for closer to the price.
I
Whereas
still
the
don't know
bikes
where
were
I'm
all,
going to buy these.
returned. And the other people was also like, I think the one people had like used stuff, one people had like refurb stuff sorta, and one people basically had new stuff.
Okay, that would explain that. But at the end of the day, where are they selling them for like a 5% discount?
They got a guy.
Like, I'm just like that. Just like, is it some sex store that they'll send them to? Like, they have sex stores.
No, they're
They'll
just
buy
selling
them
it
at
on
a 5%
Amazon.
discount.
Yeah, they're
Like,
just
from
selling it on
Amazon.
Amazon.
yeah,
Chris-
like you know, like on Amazon is like you go to the product page and it's like you generally the new product, and then it's like some get 30 other items that are used.
No,
Like,
but this isn't the new. This might like for these.
Oh yeah, no, you're
things,
right. Yeah,
they-
it's new. Yeah, so
These might even like if they let it go in the FC, they'll actually get the buy box.
yeah, they'll get the buy box. Yeah.
Chris, did you not watch the PSA part of the show and learn about how to do this yourself?
Oh no!
Oh,
I
my
didn't.
God.
All right, Brian. Now tee this up.
Okay, I'm very upset that this is just a giant commercial for getting people into this pyramid scheme or some other bullshit. Like, how it's a scam to like get people to buy stupid stuff and try to sell it, and they're gonna lose a lot of money. Everybody's gonna lose it, and the advertisements make it way more clear. They had a Ryder commercial for like distribution. They had like some business software as well, and I'm like, holy crap, this is just a giant thing to recruit people.
It's what we call.
I'm
the
not sure this
industry-
is a scam. Like that's
It's
like
an-
calling like any estate, like the real estate shows a scam. They're not scams. Like if they're lying, of course they're a scam. But like real estate shows aren't like a big scam to get people to become realtors.
No, but I do like we have no
What's the
idea. Like
difference?
we don't have an idea of
Well-
the numbers of this. Like we can look up real estate numbers because like actually, I don't even know if we can easily.
Elliot, let me take a step back here for a second. Brian,
Liquidation businesses exist and are profitable. Like that, I promise you.
no.
Yeah.
Well, Brian,
But, like-
those things are called infomercials. They're a half-hour show to sell you a specific product. This is an infomercial to sell you on buying pallets and then selling them on Amazon or eBay.
Yeah.
But
And
it's
I have no
not
doubt-
because they never told you where to go buy the pallets from. Like
But they,
if it was an infomercial, it'd be the world's worst infomercial where they didn't actually sell you anything.
well, I'm sure as soon as you start Googling around,
So they
I don't
just
know.
sold you the idea of Googling and buying stuff from other companies that they will make no money off. Yeah, good one, Chris.
They definitely like they're definitely trying to recruit. And I'm not saying that like all
They're
liquidation
definitely
businesses
not
are
trying to recruit.
No, I'm not saying that like liquidation businesses are not profitable ever. It's just they're presenting like the small number of businesses that are. They are also trying to like give tips like during this show on how to do it. They're like there's a lot about this show that makes me think that like they're trying to get people to do this.
For what possible benefit? Like tell me
So-
why they would do that. There has to be motive. If you're calling a crime, there has to be motive.
the second link on Google is extreme unboxing, how to buy return pallets from Walmart, Target, etc.
Yeah, I don't
See.
think they're trying to get other people in it. Like that increases competition for them.
Totally.
I think like that's not a good motive. And like so the other one would be like they're gonna try to attract traffic to their store, but that just seems like a weird strategy going on a national TV show to get local traffic. Because otherwise they're putting it online, which doesn't matter. I think they're just doing it. Like maybe they're making a couple bucks and they get some local press.
No, I think like for the individuals on the show, you're totally right. They're trying to get people in the store. I think one of the store names I found it funny. I think it was called Overstook.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, there's no like. I'm really talking about the showmakers, right? The showmakers aren't trying to recruit people for shit because they don't make money off of that. Like, again, no motive, so they're not gonna do it.
I mean, you're not wrong. It definitely teed it up as an infomercial, but they never said, "Hey, go to this website" at the end. So I can see your point, but it definitely feels the show is, "Hey, look how easy this you think people can do it. You can do it home," and then people will watch it and keep watching it because they think that it's so easy. That doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily, and like they can easily put themselves in the shoes of opening these things.
It was
Right? That's
weird.
the only reason this thing exists.
Yeah, it was weird in the beginning how they tried to sell in the unboxing, pallet selling lifestyle. Right? Like they edited that like intro to be like, look how fun this is. I get to work from home and spend time with my kids. I felt that was a little odd, but maybe that's just how the people feel.
Why do I also feel like I've seen this in like TV shows too?
I don't know. It's very odd to me because they definitely
I'm not
sold
sure.
it.
Like
In the-
these three like duos of people are just small business owners who are excited about their small business. Like I don't know how this is surprisingly. If you were a small business owner and you weren't excited about it, you're probably in trouble.
I mean, these are like Instagram influencers, right? Like they had their Instagram channel and they would shoot these unboxing videos.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't think so.
I think
What are
think
you
so?
talking about? Chris, you
that's
high?
that's like a big spectrum to compare this to the unboxing videos.
What?
This is not unboxing. This is unpalleting. The show's not even titled correctly. Let's clear that up. They're barely unboxing anything in most cases. They're like, oh, we opened the pallet. Look at this new box of whatever. We're gonna sell it for whatever. That's the show.
Only the bicycle
Although-
people were really opening boxes.
Right, because they had a bunch of like used stuff, and so they were like, riding skateboards and like, oh, this bike works. Oh, this bike has poo on it. Great, no
Although
one cares.
personally, I would rather watch an unpalleting video than an unboxing video. Unboxing video, you already know what's gonna come out. Unpalleting video, anything could happen.
Oh no, you're blurring the lines there. Like unboxing is this whole separate category, right? Like unboxing is
understand.
the people that are gonna buy this thing. They want to know what that experience is, and maybe they're on the fence. They
Totally
want to be
agree.
like, oh, what's the latest hoopty blah? How is it packaged, right? That's a very different audience than like this show. This show is not that at all. The show is
100%
look at
agree.
people trying to make money reselling dumb shit that they
Yeah.
happen to get at a discount.
I was just
And
saying,
make-
personally, I find unpaleting more like interesting because there's like some level of surprise in it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Well, it's all
that's
about
like
the
show is.
surprise.
Right, like the show again, as the same as Storage Wars, where you bid on the locker. You have no idea what's going to be in it. You don't know what's going to be in this palette. Sometimes there's a manifest file, which we should dig into that, where it's kind of irrelevant because no one holds anybody accountable for the manifest file of like the list of what's in the palette. So it's basically useless. This is kind of like a guide. It's like, oh, maybe there's a bicycle in here. Maybe there's a pump in here. Maybe there's something else. Maybe it's not. And
mean,
that's
it probably
Like, that's all these people
depends-
have to go on, and that and like a couple of photos of the palette. They buy the palette, they ship it to their place, then they open it. And so like I agree with VJ, like the point of the show there is like, oh, let's see what we've actually got. And there's sort of this assessment phase, right? Where they're like assessing the rough value of all the shit they just acquired. And basically the show is, you know, they have this little graphic where they're like filling the meter of are they going to recoup the cost invested or not? Which you're all going on good faith because you have to assume they're going to sell everything, which obviously they're not going to do. I have to assume.
One of the duos, like they were using some app, which like seemed like at least it was more programmatic in the number setting, right?
Sure.
Than the other two who were just coming up. And like the couple definitely initially was like, whatever the price is, we're gonna sell it for 60%. And by the end they were at 80%. Their calculation changed because they got more and more optimistic. And I was like, this is not going okay.
For sure. Now, there is one group of people that I think had a slightly nuanced approach here, which is they were buying in some cases like refurbished boxes or things that were lightly damaged, just like the outside box of a particular product. And what these people would do is actually like take that and hopefully all of the parts are in it and they would assemble it. So like, let's say it was a child's riding car or a toy or what have you. And instead of trying to like ship it, they would actually go the other route and say, hey, the service that we're providing you is that we will assemble this thing, you know, playhouse, whatever, riding car, what have you. We're going to have it in our storefront and you can just come in and buy it and you can just skip the whole like assembling piece.
Right.
So I thought that like was a bit of nuance that at least was interesting. And you could sort of see like they are providing some service and value beyond just being a middle person to resell a used thing.
I also kind of knew a friend that did similar things to this. He would go to auctions and then buy certain things he knew were cheap and then sell them on eBay. But like the margins aren't great. It's a lot of time compared to what other jobs are. So like you're not making a whole lot of money unless you have warehouses like them and can store a ton of stuff and just have like them all sit on eBay waiting for like somebody to buy them at a high price. It's similar to the pawn shop kind of like.
Right.
Well, I know there's like middle liquidators too who like basically buy liquidation pallets, go through the stuff, right? And then take out a few things from there and then reliquidate the pallet. So they basically, let's say, like the pallets actually, a lot of times you buy it, they're like, hey, it's a sports and outdoors pallet. And you buy it per pound. You're like, I'll buy like 200-pound pallet for like whatever, $2,000, let's say. And then you go and buy it and then you like go re-liquidate the pallet for like slightly less per pound money.
So you're saying it's a racket?
I mean, they're just like going through what would go in the dump and actually making use of it. So I think like that way they're really positive to the environment. Because otherwise this is all ending up in the dump.
No, the show made it seem like A, super easy, and B, like something you could just do out of your garage, which I think you can. I think that if you wanted to, but you're not going to make $3,000 on your first pallet of stuff, which I don't even know if you get a pallet of stuff delivered to your house. That seems kind of hard to do.
But like, what small business are you making $3,000 right off the bat? Like, it's like you're owning a small business here. It's tough. Like, yeah, like people understand that's why people don't do it.
That's fair.
I don't know. I think I had a different takeaway. It seemed to me like maybe I missed something here, but I thought all of the people like didn't make money on this. Like it seemed like everyone was coming in at a loss. Like, and that's on their, you know, luxurious assumptions of guessing the price.
No, James, everyone made money. Those people at the end made $2,000, dude.
Yeah, I think I missed that part, or I just got bored of the show. I did not have that as a takeaway.
Yeah, at the end they went over who the biggest winner was, which was the person that made the most money, most profit, not the most percentage profit, based on their bullshit numbers.
Right.
I think the sex people can, like, it seemed like they would actually make money because all their stuff was new. They were showing the prices on Amazon. It seemed reasonable that they would turn a profit. Whether it would be worth their time or not, I don't know. But like the other two people, I definitely thought would lose money on this piece.
So like the one person that has the bikes and stuff, do they have an actual store? I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
there's
you
a
have to
store.
assume that, right?
They shot the whole scene in their store. That was overstuck.
I feel like I must have zoned out for a second there.
That was like opening of the show.
I zoned out.
Rochester, New York. Got to give them a plug.
Are we ready for questions now? Let's do some
Keep this
questions.
train moving.
Let's get the questions here. Who's the worst human being in the show?
I think it's the one of the two sex toy guys, the one who was more annoying about it.
That's fair.
The guy who was harassing his employee.
Yes, that's the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
That,
Yeah.
you put it better than I did, but yes.
I actually don't know if they co-own the business, if they're partners, or if it, like, he kind of made it sound like, I don't need it for my bonus this Christmas. So like it seemed like he was an employee.
Weren't they family too?
Noah, internet corner it for us.
Oh, we'll see what we can do.
I give up.
I have their names written down. Let's see.
But you didn't write down any names. What? You told me
Chuck
earlier you didn't
and
write down any
Chris.
names.
I wrote down Chuck and Chris.
Yeah,
I didn't write down everyone's name, so I didn't want to go over it.
Oh, okay.
So I also wrote down how much they sold their things for, if you cared to know. But Chuck and / or Chris probably.
Not how much they sold their things for, how much they think they can sell their things for.
No, it's how much for they bought them for.
Oh,
I didn't write down their bullshit numbers. Fuck that.
that's the whole show, Chris.
Is this the apex upgrade or downgrade for the host of the show? I mean, it's apex, right?
There is
Like
no
all 6
host.
of these people?
Yeah.
There's no host.
6
there.
people. I call them the hosts.
If you call them the hosts, it's definitely their apex. They're not going up from here.
Are these people new every time, or do they like go like multiple episodes for the same duos?
All right.
So
So,
they're-
I watched most of episode 12 while we were waiting to get ready. I have 7 minutes left. 2 of the 3 were the same. Chuck and Chris were back. The New York couple were back. The third one was some different random people.
So no pastor.
Their
No
website has 6 couples on it for the cast and crew.
Got it. Oh, that's why like one of the couple that like did the PSA was different.
Yeah. I was like, who are they? And then they never came back. Definitely Apex. So we got a most baffling / cringeworthy moment. Brian, what do you got for me?
Okay, so not gonna lie, like my notes app crashed and I lost all my notes. So, but I also thought, thank God I don't have notes. But now I'm going back on that, so I've got nothing. This show was so forgettable, man.
James, what you
Man,
got?
go ahead, James.
I was gonna say I got one for you, which you might not expect. It's the moment when they're unboxing, obviously, and one of the ladies grabs what they have been after in this pallet the whole time, a hunting crossbow. The pastor, aka her husband, just looks over and says, "Damn, you look sexy."
That's pretty
I
good.
had to cringe there. And then it was sort of doubled down when they realized the name of the crossbow was something God's country crossbow, and they just really lost their minds. They just fell in love with it.
Then they found walkie-talkies and they were like, "You look hot."
I've got one. So I think every sex toy interaction was just like cringy. Like, stop.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It's not funny. It's just, let's just move on. It was all moments. Third of the episode on the list.
The edible panties part though was like, just I don't know if you need to really deal with that.
I mean, that might have been one of the most entertaining segments on the actual thing because they actually did something.
Oh, that's true.
Yo, can we talk about that one for a second?
Yeah.
So, firstly, was anybody else really thrown off by when they both look at each other and like, all right, let's try out like one of these and like just see how it tastes, right? And so they were making some references about candies or whatever. But then when they like broke off a piece to like eat it, it was like it appeared to be rock hard and like rigidly stiff. So I'm very confused for edible underwear, like how you're supposed to wear it if it's like just in like it's like a sheet of like plywood.
I wonder if they were expired.
I mean, that's a good point, Brian. They did not specify. There's probably a shelf life on that because it's candy, right?
Yeah.
Isn't the shelf life like a decade on candy?
I have no idea, man.
I don't know. I have no idea, James.
I was just like,
tweet at us if you have any idea why I look like cardboard.
Chris, I'm on Amazon right now where you're getting some.
We'll do that.
Normally, it's like
Or whatever.
candy with strings through it. Like that's how normal edible underwear is. I'm not sure
yeah.
what kind this was.
This they said it was like Jolly Rancher, and I could if it's totally like what you're describing, VJ, that I can see having a long shelf life. Jolly Ranchers though do not.
It's Hershey. They're getting in the game.
well, hold up. You just say Jolly Rancher doesn't have a long shelf life? That
It doesn't
seems
have a long shelf
inaccurate.
life.
It's a hard sugar.
They're hard
candy.
candies.
What do you mean? It's
Yeah.
not good for like 25 years plus.
Well, I said like a Jolly Rancher. Like you do not want like edible underwear that's just like a giant like basket that you're putting on. Like you want it to have some flex to it.
Yeah, that's my point. It just seems like a bad idea to make it out of Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, but like Jolly Rancher light that stuff doesn't.
I just don't think the shelf life of Jolly Rancher is the problem here. It seems like they chose the wrong candy.
Oh, this is what you're picturing, Babov.
That's
did
how
not
it
get that.
normally. That's how
I
I've
did not
normally
get
seen
that
it.
from your description. Yeah, it's like the necklace candy, but like underwear.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you bite a piece of it and like fling it at people.
All right.
I don't know what you're doing in your bedroom, Brian, but
All right, let's get to our favorite minor minutiaes. I have one. So every time they're opening this palette, I don't know if they all always come with like some sort of like plastic wrap around the whole thing. But all three in this episode did. So like I thought it was just kind of odd. And like they made a big deal. They're like, unboxing, we're unboxing now. Oh my God. Shh. And then it was just like fucking boxes. Like there was no rest of the unboxing piece. It was just them unwrapping the palette.
I can use a knife.
Yeah. Brian,
the
what?
pallets of stuff usually does come wrapped. Like that's like the norm.
Yeah, but that's part of it. It's more of a tangent to like them having a big unboxing, like media image, and then it's just them unwrapping the palette, and you can't even see what they're unboxing. But that's the whole show. So what the fuck do I know? Brian, do you have a minor minutia?
Kind of when like the bike lady was just riding around on like all the stupid kid stuff. I always kind of like doing that, so it was enjoyable.
You got to get, but she didn't do the like on one foot one scooter and on one foot the other scooter, because they're all kid scooters. You could do that.
Ah, that's definitely true.
She was rollerblading though.
She was rollerblading. She was riding around the tiny bike. I feel like she also skateboarded.
She also made the worst comment, which was about a child's helmet, saying that if she was buying a child's helmet, she would be sure to buy a bigger one so that it would fit her. Which doesn't make any sense.
What?
Thank you for bringing it up, James. I was going to mention that too. Yeah, like
That wasn't
the
a
thing about
bad
this
comment.
helmet is I'd buy a bigger one. It's like this is a child's helmet.
That wasn't a bad comment. That was just a bad joke, right? Like she intentionally said that to be funny, just wasn't funny.
It didn't seem like a joke.
It didn't work, VJ. It didn't work.
It definitely was a bad joke. I'm not debating that part. I just thought she was aware of what the hell she was saying.
Questionable.
I have
I
one.
think it's fine. Oh,
Uh,
you go, Chris.
All right. So there's a point where they're opening the sex toys, And the one guy says, there's like a glass one. Would you like any glassware? And it was a glass dildo. It was a terrible joke. So I don't know why it's my favorite, but I decided to bring it up. Noah.
It's like glass dildos, Chris. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, just like the way they pretended like they weren't. Like, would you need it? Do you want any glassware? Like, as in it's not a sex toy, which we all know it's a sex toy. So it's not funny. Anyway, Noah.
Yeah. A quick update from the corner and kind of minor minutia. So yes, the one is the owner. So the one who keeps unboxing and then making bad jokes owns Bricks and Clicks, and then so that's Chuck, and then Chris is his employee. So a nice little power dynamic there. On the minutia, I really like the visualization of the prices. It's kind of this like pop art, kind of like Batman POW like look to the prices. They could have done something pretty vanilla, and they decided to spice it up a little bit. So good for them.
All right. We got to do our favorite question now. Second favorite.
But Chris, I got one more
you
minor
got one?
prediction for
Oh.
you. We talked about the one couple was using like some sort of app on their phone to help with the prices, but when she was describing it, she's like, the most important tool when we're unboxing is our phone, and on my phone I have an app that I use, and it's like the way it was explained was like definitely someone who had no idea what they were talking about trying to explain this, and I enjoyed that.
Rob, do
It
you
was
know
magic
about
sounding
apps?
for sure.
Do you know about apps, Rob?
What's
They can-
that? Tell me about these apps.
You can keep
So like
track.
appetizers?
You
Mozzarella
can scan
sticks.
stuff.
Mozzarella sticks. Oh, I'm intrigued.
Speaking of the app,
Uh,
did it bug anybody else that like they went out of their way to never mention the name of the app, B, never show the logo or any of the title bar of the app anytime they showed a shot of the phone? They were always like really explicit about not showing a product or company logos.
Yeah, not only they didn't use the same one, I don't think, between the three of them. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like they didn't pay for the rights. So like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they just didn't want to advertise, right? But
yeah.
I bet they went to the company that made that app and say, give us some money, we'll show your app. And they said no. Like, okay, fine. We're going to not let people know this app.
I feel like if you're like high up in the list of people that do this kind of apps, you're like, there aren't that many, I'm sure.
But it wasn't
So-
just the app, right? They also like blurred out like product, like on the product itself, they blurred out the brand names, right, James? Is that what you were saying?
no, I think that was just the sex toy stuff where they blurred that.
No, I thought even for others, I saw some level of blurring there.
That might have been. That one I didn't find as odd, but it was just like they went out of their way to show a shot of these people using their phone with this app. And it's just sort of annoying when they like don't show you the full screen and they sort of intentionally cut off sections of it. I'm just like, why bother? Like, I just don't care. Like, just move on. Just don't show me it. Nitpick.
All right. Let's get to our favorite drinking rules. What are your drinking rules? I'll start off with anytime they list a price, take a drink. Oh, even better, Brian. Take the retail price minus the price they sell it for and drink for that number of like seconds.
You were
Chris.
really trying to kill our viewers, huh?
Like that rule
All
is
right,
just,
divide it by 10 first.
that rule is just chug the whole episode. Like,
Also, you're
All right. Every time they give a price, drink.
but even that, like, I
What?
feel like there's got to be some deeper level to it because it's just they're just shouting out prices constantly that
Yeah,
make no sense.
I
Like,
mean-
I don't know how you make a real
Yeah,
game.
you're trying to get drunk, dude. You're not trying to watch the show sober.
I don't
I like
think you
how
have to try. Like, it will be impossible. That's the whole show, is them naming prices of random crap that they're unboxing.
I like how your drinking rule though assumes that I'll be able to do math like 10 minutes into this episode.
All right. You can ignore my rule if you want. Brian, what's your rule?
Drink every time a phone is shown.
Oh, that's a good one. James, what is your drinking rule then?
Yeah, I mean that's the problem is I don't have a good answer prepared here. But thinking on the spot, Noah can stop shaking his head at any time. That would be immensely helpful. It's nothing but distracting, just so you know. It's not helpful. So that you're aware, when we're doing the Zoom podcasting, it's it's not great. But I'll stop stalling here and go with I don't know, when somebody thinks they're gonna get something and they don't get it. So they're like, hey, this thing's supposed to have a golf club in it, and then there's no golf club. Drink.
Rob, what do you got for us?
I think you gotta drink every time they're cutting through some plastic or they're cutting into a box. I think that's what you gotta drink.
Ooh, I like that one.
Mr. Noah.
So I was on Rob's page. I have a 2-part game because you got to get in the front half of the episode and the back half of the episode. So the front half is whenever they get a new pallet, right, and they are opening the pallet. On the back half of the episode is every time they start making a profit. So they hit the break even, you take a shot.
That's a good one.
That's 3 shots. That's more drinking than my drinking.
Not always, I'm assuming. I'm assuming everyone doesn't always break even.
There's no way they don't make a profit all 3 of them each episode.
I mean, if they're making up all the numbers, like, why wouldn't you make up the numbers to break even? Like, yeah. I think 3 shots in the episode is reasonable.
All right.
I do like the celebratory vibe that Noah's put down, at least with that one. It's sort of like, they made their money back.
They did it.
Yeah, 3 shots for a 30-minute episode too.
It's just, I don't
They've
know.
literally brought in no actual cash, but they're broken even. Cheers.
I feel like my rule of drinking for every price is less than 3 beers.
No.
How much do you think a drink is?
I don't
like how many
They
drinks.
list
are
like
in a beer?
100 prices.
That's not true. Wait, should we test this?
No, I don't want to watch another episode of this.
Chris,
All right.
watch episode 12. Since I watched most episode 12. You watch episode 12 and let me know how it goes.
No, somebody's got to be there doing the shots, and I'll do the beer.
Is that how it works?
That's definitely how it works. I'm not doing this alone.
Okay.
Get out of here. DJ, what is your drinking rule?
Drinking rule, I couldn't think of a good one. I think maybe just like whenever anyone makes a terrible joke related to the product that they're looking at.
That's a good one.
That you're gonna drink a lot too.
I don't think so. I think there's only like 5 or 6 in the episode, really.
Are you serious?
People are talking about like cringeworthy jokes, right? Like, ooh, that didn't work.
But like, there's not that many. They're really terrible. But like, how many are there?
So every sex toy had a joke. Then obviously there was the
But I think
flow.
like, but I think it's just the sex toys that kind of like popping off too much. Like if you like on a normal episode, I think like the other 2 segments, like that's pretty normal. You're getting like 2 or 3 per couple. Like maybe it's like somewhere between 6 to 9.
All right.
Yeah.
I got one more potential drinking rule is drink every time the manifest is mentioned. So I feel like there was a lot of references to the manifest.
But only by one, only by the pastor.
The pastor couple, yeah.
Could be just a pastor or regular joke. But
And they mentioned it in the episode 12 again. So that one comes back.
Oh.
I do got to give the pastor credit for being a pastor. He was the most spicy when it came to sex with his wife on the show.
Well,
Not something I'd expect from a pastor.
I don't know. Pastors are people too, Noah.
Obviously they are, but
He's not a Catholic priest, Noah. It's different.
I'm gonna go join his church.
All right.
All right. Let's move on to our next favorite question. What do you think the production schedule was like?
Per part or like for the entire episode?
I think you go episode and then season. I think that like
So how long does it take to unbox one pallet when you don't actually have to make up realistic prices?
and you don't have to do anything other than take them out of the boxes.
You take out the boxes. You do look. I guess you do look up the price on Amazon, and then you just say another price and then move on.
or you just
So-
make it up and don't.
It's
even,
like 2 hours, right? You could get through that whole thing in 2 hours.
It's a half a day, right? Like the
Half a
pallet
day?
arrives, the crew shows up, you get prepped. All right, you're like, all right, cool, we're gonna go live. Great, we're gonna unpack this thing for like 4 hours. Great, we're gonna get some craft services, and all right, it's a wrap.
Well,
I'm with James. Yeah.
do they do more than one episode for one team in one day?
right. Definitely.
Yep.
Getting the team out there would be the most expensive part.
Like, is it possible that like they film all the episodes for one pair in like 2 days?
Yes, absolutely. There was definitely other pallets, at least in the bike one. Oh, and the sex toy people had like a big warehouse. There's got to be other pallets around. Like they're just scattered about, and they'll open up another one, and it's good to go.
Yeah, I think that this whole show for one couple is probably a week. Gives
Whole
you
week for a couple? I don't know. I think they
No
must have been
way.
faster than that.
I think it's a
Spending
week.
a week with these people doing what?
Opening pallets, dude.
They got all about 8 minutes worth of content per group. I don't like. What are they doing?
That's
for a
one
week?
episode. I'm talking about the whole season.
People don't come back, do they?
Yeah,
Yeah, they do.
There's
Oh.
12 episodes. Throughout the 12 episodes, there's only 6 couples, and they repeat.
So there's 6 spots per couple on average.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's max of 3 days. I think they're doing 2 or 3 a day. So it's 2 days or 3 days.
I'm
They've
not
filmed all
sure.
the episodes and they move on.
I think that they'll film extras so they can throw some away that don't work. I think they'll just do. You just do a week.
Oh, you think that they they go through some unboxings that don't work out as well, and they throw some of them away. Yeah, okay. Then
I
maybe.
think-
But like
I think-
these people, so once they unbox, wouldn't they want to do certain things with all this stuff before moving on to the next pallet? So like that, I think they have to make time for that. Like you wouldn't just like put it all like in a box again, right? Like then you've just kind of gone back to square one. You have to kind of like organize it, and like for the people who are selling it online, you have to list it. Like you want to get through
No,
the whole
we're not.
inbound
That has
process.
nothing to do with the show. You know that, BJ. It's all about opening the pallet.
I understand, but the store owners still have to keep their business running, dude.
Yeah,
you're,
but
you're getting
this
the
is
money
part of
from
their
A&E to not have your business actually run for a few days.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm kind of on James' page, like on like the day-to-day schedule. I think they do it over a week. That's it. 6 days, like 6 episodes, 6 days, half day shot.
And they like do the post-production that evening itself, right? So that's how the production people aren't like wasting time. In the morning they film it, in the evening the store owners are like cleaning up their shit, the production people are cleaning up their shit, aka the post-production. Like that's like both people are just side by side working.
I don't think so. So I actually don't think the editing's happening at that same day. Like I think they're just filming a bunch of shit, and then they're going back and they're going off to the edit room for another separate week. But like that's not contingent upon these people's time, right? Like you're just sending that to the producers and the editors, and they're gonna craft a story, which we obviously know with reality TV. That's like the whole thing, right? Like you see what sticks, how you tie it together. But like just in terms of getting the content, I think that's very quick.
Sure.
And like even if these people do multiple, like sure, let's say there's a group that does 6-10 pallets. Okay, you spend a day per pallet and you film each pallet unboxing, and it's whatever, right? And you edit together what's good and what's bad and move on.
Yeah, they like the way they shot it. It was a little more complicated than needed. They had their professional cameras, but then they spliced in like iPhone selfie view cameras, and so yeah, they probably they got to take those shots like a couple times, right? They're like, no, do it again, do it again, do it again.
I always thought that those like iPhone shots were their social media shots.
There's no social media integration, Chris. Just give it up.
Well, that's why I thought it was social media integration because of those shots.
You just want it to be social media, and it's just not.
I just think that people would want to watch. People obviously this is showing A&E. There has to be some sort of audience.
Noah,
Can't
this is your
be
time.
some audience on Instagram for these yokels to like find. I don't understand why thinking they're on social media is such a weird thing.
I guarantee you that now they're at the very least now they're on social media.
I think that they are found because they were on social media.
Maybe I found, Yeah.
I can't go on. I just don't care about the internet corner about it. Find
They
it.
don't have. I mean, at least what I could when I was looking up the Bricks and Clicks ownership model, they don't seem to have a huge social presence. They do have a very active Facebook group where they post all the stuff that they're selling. Like that kind of makes sense. But when
That's
looking up
social.
Bricks and Clicks in Millbury, Ohio, their social profiles are not coming to the top of any Google pages.
Their SEO's bad, Noah. Leave them alone. All right. We're done with the production schedule. We have no way to answer any of these questions unless, Noah, you tweet at them and ask them how long it took to film.
No,
Well-
Chris, you set up your unboxing company, and then we'll get you on the show, and then you answer these questions for us. That's how we do it.
I feel like it's going to be a lot easier to ask 12 yokels how long it took them to film than it is for me to get on. Anyway, all right, let's move on to ratings. We do a stack ranking system. We do a top, middle, bottom third. Some crazy people might stack rank in their stack rankings, so you'll hear about that as we go. But we're comparing to other reality shows and not to like Breaking Bad and The Wire. So just as an FYI. Brian, what do you
Otherwise,
got?
it would always be top of the top.
Always. Brian, what do you got for me?
I got bottom of the bottom. If I wanted to see numbers pop off on a screen, I'll just play a damn video game. Like, it's a lot more fun.
VJ, what do you got for me?
I got top of the bottom. I felt like there wasn't a crazy, like, it's shit boring, but there's not like crazy, like cringe, like the crazy amount of cringe-worthy moments. So that's why it's on bottom of the bottom. And like also like the numbers thing on the screen, you know, like we watch a lot of shows and then we're like, if they could just put the numbers on the screen, that'd be so helpful. And they did it. So like I'm like that is to their credit that they actually did what seemed obvious. Because that does not seem to be the case like when other people, like even Shark Tank, I don't feel like they do the numbers correctly on the screen.
I agree with that, but you can still go too far in the other direction.
They showed
Noah,
you one number, the only number that mattered. That seemed
all right,
reasonable.
we've moved on. We're moving on. Noah, what do you got for me?
Top of the bottom. Yeah, the show is not enjoyable to watch. There are shows that go further on the unlikability scale. And it's the reason it's not further down is I appreciate that A&E is just trying to get a big bang for their buck. Like clearly they're running this thing on a shoestring, and is trying to get some shit on there. And I think they do a good job of running this on a shoestring budget.
All right, James, what do you got for me?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, the show's definitely in the bottom. I think in the more specific rating, I'll put in the middle of the bottom and not go absolute, purely for the fact that it's not offensively bad. Like it doesn't like slap you in the face and really just make you hate it. But having said that, I just found myself really bored. Like I just couldn't care. The numbers all just seemed irrelevant. Like I do like the production value they brought and showing some of the details, but in the end, it just nothing mattered. They didn't sell anything. It's just a bunch of people opening a box and being like, I guess I could sell this for whatever. And I was just really bored. But like, hey, if like that's the sort of thing that like excites you, then maybe the show is for you. But if otherwise, I don't know. So yeah, middle of the bottom.
Rob, what do you got for us?
I don't have anything interesting to add. Like, it's definitely a bottom third show. Like, not that much happens. We talked about like there seems to be I don't know if it's a good show. This is a better show where it actually would take you through all the steps of the process and not just the taking the stuff out of the pallets and making up prices about it part of the process. But yeah, it's just there's not a lot happening and it's not that interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I don't normally do it. It's bottom third. I mean, let's be fucking clear here. It's bottom third. Unanimous bottom third. I'd be very disappointed if either of you, any of you put it anywhere else.
I've disappointed you before, Chris. I'd do it again.
You have done that to me in the past. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but you have done that. But I agree with Brian on this one. I think this is the bottom of the bottom. It's fucking hot garbage. It's just people spin off stupid numbers that like literally I could care fucking less. Like even if these were real fucking numbers, I could give two fucks if these people made any money or not. Like, but like they're not even real numbers. I could care. Like, there's no way you'd get me to watch another episode of this. It's so boring about people I don't care about, of stuff I don't care about. Like, this is literally my nightmare having all this shit around. Like, fuck this. Fuck this show. And I'm done talking about it. We're going to move on to another. I think this show you surprised me on, Rob, actually.
I did.
You got to give us the update on America's number one show on the Fox network.
That's right.
The Masked Singer.
Yeah, so it's been a couple weeks coming. We can talk about, who's been unmasked and stuff like that. But the interesting thing to really talk about is how the Masked Singer is handling this quarantine situation. And it's not what I expected. They made a slight change to the set. Like the judges are definitely spaced out a bit more. And Robin Thicke is definitely like giving no fucks what's going on. He's got a beard. His hair is like all nuts and stuff. And it's great. But they're trying to make it seem like everything's normal, including they're doing stuff with camera tricks and editing. They make it seem like there's a crowd there and they're using shots and they're splicing in from previous seasons, but there's no crowd there. But the show doesn't acknowledge in any way that that's the case. You have to Google it later of like, wait, there wasn't any people in the crowd, was there? And they're like, no, they're purposely trying to make it seem like there's a crowd there sitting like normal and reacting to things, even though it's not happening. And like there was this, Nick Cannon briefly mentioned like, oh, and people are also voting from home, and they like really quickly showed that. Then they don't mention it again. And they definitely, when it comes time to vote, they're making it seem like people who are there in the audience are voting, even though they're not. And it's so weird of how they decided
that is
to
the
do it.
weirdest thing I could have ever imagined for this show.
Yeah.
I forgot that the audience, quote unquote, voted for who should be kicked off, which I think we questioned in our original review.
It's always been very questionable, and it's very suspicious of how much this, because they say the audience votes, but the judges also vote, and they don't explain how that works.
I think last year made pretty clear because like bad singers were still in, but like a good singer would leave, and then they have like some PR thing coming out that week.
Yeah,
so it was like pretty clear that just come on, you'll get off this week. And so you can promote your book club bullshit or whatever.
Book club for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What kind of celebrities we're looking at this season?
All right.
We're looking at A tier celebrities, B tier.
George Clooney for sure.
I don't think A tier is really in the Masked Singer's a wheelhouse there. So here's who we got. So. Episode 1, the dragon was unmasked, and it was Busta Rhymes, who is a person I've heard of. Busta.
Ooh, damn, that's a big one.
And into suspicious things with who gets kicked off. Like they're doing this thing now, which I enjoy, where they're making the judges write down who their initial guess is, and they'll reveal them later, and like that's going to get better as season goes on. But in the first episode, they made Nick Cannon write one down for just one, and it turned out to be the one who got kicked off, and he was able to pull out of his pocket and I was like, this seems very fishy that they did this just for this one. Then
so wait,
yeah,
for the ones that like you write down and like aren't voted off immediately, like do you get to change that result, or is it like you're going off like such limited information?
Yeah, no, they locked it in a vault, or a fake vault, and then they're gonna like so. The people who get kicked off later, they're going to be like, okay, 10 episodes ago, who did you guess this was after their first performance? And then it's going to, I think this is a good wrinkle.
Is it a wrinkle? It doesn't even seem like a wrinkle. Like,
it's not a wrinkle. It's a gimmick. It's a little funny thing they do on the side that they make fun of the judges for being idiots, which I support. Then second episode, they did so there's another thing where the last person to sing was the gremlin, and the gremlin was just like, I'm done, I'm going to take my mask off, even though they apparently hadn't voted and hadn't done anything. And it was Mickey Rourke, who was in The Wrestler and Iron Man 2. And apparently he was like signed up to do a bunch of PR and just said, nah, I'm done, and didn't do any of it after he was unmasked. He was like, I'm done with
That's
this show.
amazing. That's great.
so great. Like, he's just like, I'm over this.
Yeah. And then the most recent episode kicked off was Brian Austin Green, who used to be a 90210 and was married to Megan Fox.
Oh.
And apparently was friends with Robin Thicke when they were teenagers, and they had a band together at some point.
Weird.
And Robin Thicke's initial guess was Jaleel White, who I'd guessed was the Frog last season. So I got a kick out of that.
Wait, Robin Thicke thought that Brian Austin Green was Urkel?
You're correct.
Oh boy.
Wait, who's Urkel?
You don't know who Urkel is?
I don't know. I know who Urkel is. I don't know his real name.
Jaleel White.
Okay. Who are so this season they have a like two-headed creature.
It's two people in bird costumes, but they have this kind of like little nest thing they stand in. So they don't wander on the stage. They just stand there singing to each other. But it's a man and a woman. They reference each other as brother and sister, but that might be misdirection. Could be a married couple. We'll see. Maybe it's
like
Jamie and Cersei Lannister. That'd be great.
Sounds like the White Stripes.
It could be the White Stripes. I thought about that.
Well, that's the opposite, right?
Yeah.
All right. I think that's.
And well, my last thing is I'm convinced the son is Demi Lovato. So we'll see if that.
All right, put it in the vault.
It's in the vault.
Demi Lovato sounds A-tier.
Demi Lovato would be pretty good. I'm more B tier, but it's pretty good.
The talent, the talent seems like a notch above this season.
But that's what we thought last season when they were kicking off like Lil Wayne, and then the actual winners was a bunch of people you never heard of. So
yeah, because if you're famous, you don't actually want to be in the show.
Like Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're famous, you always want your face to be on TV, not you hidden on TV. Like, it doesn't make sense.
All right,
how many people are left? Sorry, I just wanted, as a non-watcher of the show, I only experienced the show through Rob's updates. So I'm curious as to how many are left.
It's actually they've done another weird thing. That's look. They did last season. They did this A team, B team, C team, and they had them sing together and go down to like kind of like almost a bracket kind of thing.
Oh my god!
So they did A team the first episode. They did B team the second episode. Then they were back to A team the first episode. So it seems like there's only two groups, but I think there's a third group that they haven't seen yet. So I think there's still 15 left. But
15?
We'll
15? Oh,
15.
What? You've been watching this thing for months.
No, it just restarted. They've only kicked off 3 so far.
I don't know. It feels like it's been
fourth
going on for
season.
years.
He's watched this
Rob,
for
like-
years now.
Do you watch the show regularly?
Yeah, every week.
I feel like you regularly tell me you don't get time to watch all these shows that are on your list.
Oh yeah.
And somehow this makes it off the list onto the TV.
This is a show I can watch and fold laundry at the same time, which other shows, if I'm going to watch, like, I don't know, what's the show I'm actually interested in?
Yeah, what's your shout out of the week, Rob? What's your shout out?
Like what actual show
Yeah,
am I
what
watching?
actual
like one...
show would you want to like recommend or talk about?
So we're watching the second season of Homecoming, which is the Amazon Prime show that had Julia Roberts in the first season and does not have Julia Roberts in the second season.
Ooh.
And
is it the same story?
It's a continuation of the same story, yeah.
Does that mean she died?
Not that I know of, but it's we'll see.
Okay. That's your. What is it?
What is it?
Yeah. What's it about?
It's the first season. The first season is about Julia Roberts is working in this facility to help veterans returning back from war reacclimatize to normal life, but all is not as it seems. And it's by the guy who did Mr. Robot. So similar, like funky directing things going on.
Sam Esmail.
Yeah, it's also, I believe it was based on a podcast.
It is based on the podcast. It says in the credits, it's based on the podcast. And I was like, what?
Podcast. Oh.
Yeah, it was a super
When is the
popular
Who Put
podcast.
This On podcast TV show gonna come out.
When we make it happen.
All right, Brian, what's your shout out of the week?
The Boys.
I got a quick thing. Will the Who Put This On TV show be like the Firefest documentary?
Yeah, it's just a collection of failed reality shows after we tried to launch our own reality shows.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because,
Brian, what was our reality show we came up with?
ooh, damn.
Oh, it was like Big Brother, but in a haunted house.
Yeah.
But instead of celebrities, it's just random people. Like that. What was that show we watched?
The
Scare or something.
What are you talking about? The one with the Stranger Things kid?
No. We did like a celebrity haunted house kind of show. It was on like VH1.
Oh, I might not have been on that.
Scared
Rob,
famous.
Scared Famous. That's it.
Yeah. But you know what we could do? We could pitch this to Quibi, and I think we revive the network.
Yeah. I think that we would have the best reality show on Quibi, I think. Just like
Easily.
easily. All right, Brian, what's your shout out? The Boys?
Yeah, The Boys. I finished season 2. It's a show about superheroes who are dicks. It's pretty good. I don't think it was season 2 was not as good as season 1, but it still rides through nicely.
I enjoyed it. It was good. I agree. Noah, what's your shout out?
The Morning Show on Apple TV finished the only season for The Morning Show, and it is excellent.
Man, you're really deep in that Apple world, aren't you?
That and Ted Lasso are like really, really good. Ted Lasso is like very heartwarming. It's like easy to watch, feel good. The Morning Show is definitely not as high as like a Breaking Bad, but it's more in that territory.
All right, James, you got a shout out?
I sure do. But first, I got to mention Below Deck Med has just wrapped up the latest season with a staggering 20 episodes, the longest of all of the Below Deck franchises. So just fun fact for you, if anybody was keeping a tally. Hopefully next week we'll get a reunion show, and it'll be interesting to see what they do. Because on the show, this was all prior to COVID happening. So like now that the show has actually aired, it'll be really interesting to see like what the hell's going on now. But my shout out of the week is going to go to a Netflix, or now on Netflix, Last Chance U. I feel like it might qualify for this podcast, actually. Whether or not a lot of people will have interest in a sports, reality show is another topic. But yeah, I don't know. I know it's a few years old. I think at this point, I think it's like season 4 or 5 or something like that. But I got a random hair the other night and started watching them 2 episodes in, and so far really enjoying it. It kind of cures a little bit of that sports itch, and also just kind of like production value is really cool. And it was just really kind of interesting also learning about this like whole junior college division of football that I really didn't know anything about before.
VJ, do you have a shout out?
I've been struggling to find new shows in the last couple of weeks, but I do agree with the Boys shout out. The other thing I watched on Hulu a few weeks ago was Woke. And I was pretty sure it was pretty good. It's like comedy, but with like someone, fighting for social justice, and kind of like getting into fighting for social justice. It seems like the show is filmed. So the show came out on Hulu in September, and basically it seems to me, I don't understand when it must have been filmed. Because everything's like all production has been shut down for a while, but it talks about police brutality. So was this show filmed and then happened to be really topical, or did this show like break quarantine to like be produced? Because it has to be one of those two. And I didn't research into which one it was. But yeah, show was interesting to watch. There's only one season. I mean, September, Hulu basically launched one season. That's it.
All right. I've been watching The Haunting of Bly Manor, which is a follow-up of The Haunting of Hill House, anthology show. It's not very scary. It's kind of like a mystery box. Kind of like there's just stuff happening to these people, and they're haunted by their past in some way. And it's just it's an interesting show to watch. I'm enjoying it. So I think that's it for us this week. You can reach us on Who Put This On at whoputthison.com. Just on Twitter at Who Put This On. You can find us on Facebook.com/Who Put This On. You can email us questions and suggestions at whoputthison@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time.
At least the people we watched weren't terrible human beings. That's why it's not, right? Like that's kind of the thing. It's like they're not garbage people. They're just normal people trying to like run a small business.
That's what I was gonna chime in before, but Chris like said like we're not talking about the show anymore. We're done. But I was gonna be like, the reason why it's not bottom is because the bottom shows it's like these people are just terrible.
Right.
They're not.
I stick by my offensively bad comment. The show wasn't
exactly
offensively
right.
bad.
I agreed with that. Yeah.
It's not Crisley. Crisley knows best. Some garbage people.
That's our bar. It's not Grizzly Knows Best.
Oh, that's true. Grizzly Knows Best definitely goes below the show.
Yeah.
What's our all-time like bottom of the bottom? Like I know that
we have it right.
There's no question, James. You know the show.
I get it. Well, is it The Apprentice?
Of course.
Yeah. That's still the reigning all time? But I was just trying to think of like what's our like all-time running list of like these are the bottom of the bottom or like the lowest aggregate score. I bet there's like a fun.
Well, we have a lot of just unanimous bottom thirds. Like that's not a small company.
The season finales we always go over what's the worst.
Yeah. So
the finales are probably the best way to get
our
there.
season finale champs of worst to the worst this season was The Celebrity Apprentice, You the Jury, Chrisley Knows Best, and what was that other one called? I Get That a Lot.
Mm.
So that's the Hall of Fame.
All really bad.
Like those are all worse than this one, right? Like this show's bad, but like those are still worse, right?
Like I was on the one a few weeks ago for what was it? I Can Hear Your Voice. I Can Hear Your Voice was worse than this easily.
Oh really? I didn't see that one. Yeah.
It was real bad.
You think it was worse than this?
Not surprising.
I Can See Your Voice. Whatever.
I Can See Your Voice was no.
The only good thing about this episode is it was only a 30-minute show.
Yeah.
It's the only thing you could say compared to You the Jury and I Can Hear Your Voice. Like those were 40-minute shows and they were garbage.
On the plus side for You the Jury, they had the foresight to cut it after like 3 episodes.
Two.
Sorry.
We never got that pizza episode.
We don't know.